Hi everybody, it's Cathryn from In the Pink Designs. My project today is a mishmash of a bunch of things. I'm sorry about that. I'm using the Choose Happy stamp set for the pumpkin and the pumpkin face. I'm using the Naughty and Nice for this frame stamp here, and the labeled with Love Punch for it to punch it out. I'm using the Playful Ghosts for the Trick or Treat. And I'm using some Brights Designer Series paper and some from my stash, since Stampin' Up! Didn't do a Halloween DSP this year. They're having one with a scrapbook release, but that's probably, I'm thinking it's not going to be here till September end. So I'm going to just use what's in my stash. All right, you can get at least two, maybe three of these out of each of your design cardstocks. We need a piece of Granny Apple Green that is 8 by 4. I'm going to use this piece of the Brights Designer Series paper. I believe this is Granny Apple Green. Okay, and from my stash, this is just a generic plaid that hopefully you might have some or can get some. We need two pieces that are 2.5 by 1.5, two that are 3/4 by 1.5, and two that are 2.5 by 1/2. Okay. All right, let me get my Simply Scored. Oh, I forgot to show you what's inside. Open this up. Now this can fit any number of Halloween treats, but I put in here a bag of Skittles, the Wild Berry Skittles. So you could probably fit in M&Ms or any fun-size candy bar will definitely fit in there. Okay. All right, I don't know if I told you it measures 2 3/4 by 3 by 1. All right, so let me get my Simply Scored. And I'm gonna start on the 8-inch side. Score at 1/2, 3 1/4, 4 1/4, and 7. Turn it to the 4-inch side and score at 1, 2 3/4, and 3 1/2. Okay, now just fold and burnish your score lines. This top 1/2 inch, there's a 1/2 inch rectangle over here and one at the top. The long one is just going to fold back a little, and then the rest I'm going to fold and burnish. Okay, so again, the 1/2 inch rectangles over here, and over here there's a 1-inch piece on the bottom and on the side, and this is what we're going to be doing. Okay, so let's start over here. We're going to go to the first score line, cut it to the first score line, and wedge up into that 1/2 inch rectangle. Go to the next 2 score lines and cut them to the first score line, and then wedge both sides of that square. And then go to the last score line, cut it to the first score line, and wedge both sides of that square. All right, so now turn it so that the 1/2 inch rectangle here is on this side, and there's a 1/2 inch at the bottom. All right, go to the first score line, cut it to the second score line, take off the rectangle and wedge the rectangle, which we usually are wedging a square, but this time it's a rectangle. Go to the next 2 score lines and cut them to the second score line. Take off the rectangle and then wedge the rectangle that's left there. Okay, then go to the last score line, cut it to the second score line, and wedge up into that 1/2 inch rectangle. So this side there's only a little teeny piece left. All right, turn it back right side up, and then we're going to round the corners of these 4 top pieces well, 2 top pieces, but 4 corners. All right, and that's what your cardstock should look like when you're done scoring and cutting. Okay, we're gonna get some tear and tape and put it on what's left of that 1/2-inch rectangle on the side next to the score line, and take off that backing. And I'm gonna roll a little bit, make sure none of your tape's sticking off. All right, flip it over and then fold the sides to meet. Okay, this is the back where our seam is, and I'm just going to close it, and I'm going to make sure I put this back flap down first and then close it the rest of the way. Now we're going to put our paper on. Okay, these 2 pieces are the front and the back. These 2 pieces are this upper part of the front and back, and then these pieces are the sides. Okay, so let's let that dry a minute, and let's do our stamping. So we need our piece of Bright's Designer Series paper in Granny Apple Green, and we need a piece of basic white. And first I'm going to do the pumpkin, which is from Choose Happy stamp set. Put that down, and then the smile. Jack-o'-lantern face on there. Good. Okay, and that I'm going to fussy cut. Okay, now we're going to stamp the Trick or Treat onto our Bright's Designer Series paper in Granny Apple Green. And I'm going to use pumpkin pie ink. And let me try to get this straight. I'm not that great at this, but give it a shot. Good. Okay. And the Trick or Treat is from the Playful Ghosts design, stamp set. Alright. And then we need some Granny Apple Green. And I'm using the frame from Naughty and Nice stamp set. And I'm going to put the Trick or Treat to the left of the frame. Okay, and then we're going to cut this out with the labeled with Love Punch. Okay, and I'm going to fussy cut out my pumpkin. Okay, and I'm just using 2 blends, dark pumpkin pie and dark old olive, and I'm going to do the stem with old olive and the pumpkin with dark pumpkin pie. Okay, and then that's our pumpkin. Then we're going to get a dimensional and put it on our pumpkin, and I'm going to put my pumpkin right in and move him over just a little bit. Okay, there we go. And then this is the front, so I'm going to put some more dimensionals on the back of my tag. And then I'm just going to center this on the front. Okay, and then you would put whatever you want to put in there. And I'm using a 1/8 inch hole punch, but you can use a quarter if you want to. And I'm just going to put 2 holes. And I'm going to take some striped iridescent ribbon and I'm going to put it through the holes and tie a bow. Okay, and then for the final touch, I'm going to be using some of the Ombre matte decorative dots. And I'll use these green ones. Oh no, actually we're using the, I think they're Calypso Coral. And I'm going to put one there, and then a small one right there, and then I'm going to put a small one on the stem. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, my email is below, along with the link to my blog and my Stampin' Up! Shop. Alrighty, have a great weekend, and I will see you next week. Please subscribe and hit the like button. Bye.